I am Rob Jacobs, and it is time to talk about preparing your horses for competition from a grooming and turnout perspective. At this time at the horse show, you're preparing your horse to be braided by a braider, or you may choose to braid the horse yourself. Make sure your horse's mane is pulled appropriately and is short enough so that the braider can allow the braids to be thoroughly done and not too large. After the mane is pulled, it may be a good idea to wash your horse's mane really well. The braiders arrive at the horse shows very, very early in the mornings, so you're usually okay if you wash the horse's mane thoroughly the night before. It's a great idea to braid for recognized competitions especially. It is tradition, and it also adds to the aesthetics of your overall turnout. And if you are competing in the hunters or the equitation, that's a large part of the presentation. You want to show yourselves off well, and having your horse's mane braided does accentuate the horse's neck and front end and allows it to be shown appropriately. If you hire a braiding professional or if you braid yourself, you probably have experience in evaluating the horse's neck length, and you may decide to make the braids smaller or larger depending on the conformation of your horse. Traditionally in the hunter ring, the braids are smaller and they're closer together, and there are a larger number of them extending from the front of the horse's wither all the way up to the horse's poll. If you choose to compete in the jumpers, you may have different braids. Maybe you have larger, rounder braids, and there are fewer of them, approximately 15 braids or so. Sometimes horses are known to rub their head and neck a little bit up against the stall wall if they're not accustomed to being braided. So it may be a good idea to purchase one of the neck sleazies, which will help the horses keep their braids in thoroughly. Tails may also be braided. Wash the tail, not only the top of the tailbone, but also the tail hair as well. It's important to never use show sheen on your tail before it's braided, because it will make the tail hair too slick and too slippery, and it will not hold for a thorough and complete braid job. It's beneficial to use a tail wrap after your tail is braided. It just allows the tail to remain clean and as aesthetically pleasing as possible. You can always remove the tail wrap before your rides or even before you show, and then you can reapply the tail wrap if you are in between classes and your horse is likely to rub or itch. You may choose to buy or even borrow a fake tail for your horse. It's important to match up the color of the tail with the color of the horse's natural tail. Fake tails are very common to see when competing in the hunter disciplines or the equitation disciplines at your recognized competitions. It looks nice to have a fake tail added to your horse or pony, but it also balances out the ride. And as you're being judged in the hunters or the equitation, a large part of it is how well you present yourself and how well you present your horse to the judge. There are a variety of hoof conditioners that will allow your horse's hooves to shine and protect their feet. That may be something that you do right before you walk into the ring for competition. Traditionally, riders may put the hoof oil on after they have schooled and warmed their horses up, so that way it's as fresh as possible as they enter the competition arena. The final takeaway may be to always spend additional time ensuring that you are turned out well and your horse is turned out well, knowing that that affects your overall score, and there is no such thing as being turned out too well. So spend as much time as possible in that area.